Now, if you like road trips, this is a good one to go on. The leaves are starting to change, and we'll get some footage of that as we go up the road. But as you can hear, my dog is really not happy. He's whining. We don't usually take him on long trips. We adopted him back at the end of last summer. And he rides sometimes, but he's not with his brother, so he's on his own right now. But we'll see how he does. We're going to take him with us, and hopefully he'll be able to signal if he sees something inside. I don't know. We'll try it. I know that our dog Max did when we were in Atlanta at the Beverly Hills Inn. That was cool. And if you haven't seen that video yet, go back and watch it. You'll see I have all my spooky stories on there with the same picture at the front. But let's see what we find today. Hopefully we'll have an encounter. Maybe. Okay, we're officially in Whipple, and the store looks, let me get the side. You can see it's kind of run down. It doesn't look freshly painted. It's got an open sign, and you can see the bottom. It's very unusual the way it's built. I think it was a hexagon with an octagon on top, but the dog is not happy. But you can see the outsides, and it says coal mine history tours. Now they do the haunted tours at night, and you can actually spend the night. And the family that owns it now, they apparently redid it and did a lot of things, but it's a little spooky looking from the outside. Oh, Brian, so you don't like it already, do you, honey? Well, let's see what it looks like. We'll take the tour. This should be fun getting up these steps. There's a lot of steps, and of course I use a cane or a walker, so we will see. Okay, we're here, and we're getting ready to go into the building and take the tour. And as you can see, the wiener is fine. Now I'm going to try to maneuver up these steps. Here's the pamphlet that tells you about the Whipple store and museum. All proceeds from any of the tours go for the upkeep. So definitely make this part of your ghost hunting trip if you're coming through the Appalachian Mountains. It's not hard to get to either. There's the information on it. Okay. We just got out of the Whipple house, and the lady is wonderful there, the owner. She gave the most fantastic tour. If you want to learn a lot about history, it was great. But I have to say that there's stuff going on. I'm red now. My husband and I, when we went in, at first I could feel like energy. But then, because I'm on a cane, I had to sit down, and I sat in front of the elevator. Well, I got a flash, almost like when you remember a dream. Okay, Brian, calm down. Brian was upset the entire time. Yeah, we won't be bringing him when we come back for the night tour. But when I got in front of the elevator, I got a flash, like I saw cards, and I saw somebody hanging, just like remembering a dream. And I said, what was it about a card game? I'm seeing cards. And she said, oh, yeah. And she tells us this story about somebody playing cards, and he was winning, and they stacked the deck against him, and he got mad, and they hung him in the elevator. But she said there have been several deaths in the elevator. But all I know is that I saw cards, and I saw a man, and I think he had dark hair, and it was a flash. So, I don't know, but Brian was going crazy. He just was not happy there. And my husband, say what you told to me in your own words, that you didn't feel anything till...
Oh, yeah, I didn't feel anything till I got right in front of that elevator. And then the hair on my arm started standing up, and I felt really cold, kind of cold. Yeah, it's like a real cold feeling, and there's definitely a lot of energy in that building. And she was telling us different stories about things that had happened that she had witnessed. I don't want to retell her stories, because if you come here, I want you to hear it from her. But just last night, they were in the ballroom, and we didn't get to tour the ballroom because it was just the lower level tour, but we'll get to go when we've made reservations to go next Saturday. But she said in the ballroom, when they did a tour last night, there were children's handprints, and
one guy said, oh, it's just in the dust, and he knelt down and you could see where his knees were, and he tried to wipe in the dust in the floor, he tried to wipe the handprints away. It was children's handprints, and he couldn't wipe them away. They wouldn't go away. And she said that she's also had footprints show up, and she's taken pictures of them. And there's just a lot of activity there, and I felt chill. It was like I could hear echoes. You hear echoes of children's voices, and that's why I asked her. I said, what was upstairs? And that's how we got onto the topic of children. Apparently there was it an influenza epidemic? And they housed the children so the company doctor could take care of the kids. They put them all in the ballroom, and of course a lot of them died, and that's what's apparently in the ballroom, because all I knew is I kept hearing like echoes. So I knew there weren't, what I was feeling wasn't like an adult or an old man. Now, I got the flash in front of the elevator, and then we went to the front. She did a whole history tour about the store, and we learned a lot of things that I had no idea about. How the miners worked and how script was, and that they weren't slaves to the mines like we thought, like we've been told in history books. It's really interesting how she explains it. She explains how the accounting system went and everything. But anyway, I was okay in there, and actually you could feel it didn't feel as heavy, and it was cooler in there, a lot cooler. But there's this center part of the store, and it's all open, but it has the only real concrete, the traditional concrete. And when you stand there, she says, you know, it's like a microphone, the way the building is built, because the building's actually circle. It's a circle, and the other parts that are on the outside were built on to the circle. But it is acoustically the most interesting thing I've ever seen. And where I sing, everybody, like my husband counted, and you feel like you don't have to push, like as you're on a stage, you know, you have to really push with your diaphragm to get to the back of the theater to be heard. You don't there. I sang How Great Thou Art, just the first part of it, but that was amazing. It felt like I had the best sound system ever, and you didn't have to push to get it out. Now I have a very strong voice, but even when I took it down to make it soft, you could still hear me perfectly, and you can feel it, and you get a reverb. It's the acoustic balance in there is crazy. But when I sang the hymn, I felt like the energy in the room sort of scattered. It went away, and it was really interesting, and it stayed gone for a good while. Then we go into the front part of the store where people will get paid, and it's where she's got her register and everything, and she's showing us that's where the bank vault was. Well, she told me, she said, you're sensitive, so you're going to feel a difference in there. Well, sure enough, I did. It felt much heavier there, and it was just like you couldn't breathe as well. Well, then they got into the vault, and of course I said, I want to see in the vault, and it's got all sorts of artifacts. The artifacts and pictures through there are amazing. But I got into the vault, and my ears started ringing like I had tinnitus really bad, and I felt pressure on my shoulders. It was almost like you couldn't take a full breath because the pressure on your shoulders was bad, and the ringing in my ears was crazy. And I had Brian with me, and Brian started going like this and back and forth and shaking his head, flopping back and forth. Now he's asleep on my lap, he's worn out, but he's shaking his ears like he's hearing ringing too. And then I told Daniel, I said, come in here and see if you have it happen, see what you feel. He felt the pressure. You say what you felt.
I felt like something was pushing against my eardrums, and it felt really heavy.
Yeah, so I'm not just goofy, or there's some validation. And she said that I can video when we go back next week for the night tour, because she allows people to video and everything, but she doesn't during the day tour because people get people who come, they lived in mining towns, or they were raised in mining towns, and they're there for the history, you know, as much as for the paranormal stuff. But people get very sensitive about things, and she said she just doesn't want them videoed, you know, that unless everybody gives their permission. And people get real comfortable, she said, and I can understand that. The tour is long and it's informational, and she interacts with you so well that you know, you feel like you're talking to friends. And the group, we had 2 other people with us, and they were from Iowa.
Yeah.
Very nice people, but you know, that was cool. We're definitely going back, and I recommend, if you're coming to West Virginia, definitely go to the Whipple store and check out the only remaining company store from the age of the old-fashioned age of mining. And script, it's a whole different story than what we're told in the history books. So I'm going to turn this off for a little bit, and we're going to get something to eat, and I'm going to rest because I am really exhausted. Oh, I got another I forgot. Coming down the steps outside, I got another flash, like I did at the elevator. And I was like, I saw a man kicking a woman, and there was a child. And I felt like the child was misbehaving, maybe, or the child was active. And but the man kicked her, and I could just see it kicking and her falling. And she came out, and because I had to, it was so overwhelming, I had to sit down on the steps outside, and I was hot inside. I was like sweating, and I'm clammy. But then when I saw that, I had cold chills all over me. And I asked her, I said, did something happen on these steps? Did somebody get kicked, like kick a woman down these steps? And she confirmed it. Yeah, she said a woman had fallen down the steps and died at the bottom. So that was a little unnerving. And that was so strong that I was sick. I got sick to my stomach, and I was very dizzy, had to sit down. And my husband's like, that's crazy that you felt all that. But, you know, it's been validated by other people on tours, I guess, and from what she said. But I can't wait to go back next week. Hopefully I won't get as sick. I don't want to get sick. I want to be able to enjoy the tour and see what I feel, and we can take photographs and see what we find. She said a lady last night, was it? Her husband took her picture, and when I guess it was on a digital phone or digital camera or on a cell phone, but she said that it looked like it wasn't orbs, it was like all of them coming down, like they were raining down on her. So the activity there is really high. Definitely, if you want to do some real ghost hunting, go there. And she said that which one did she say that?
All of them have been there.
They've all been there, but she said that Zach was full of shit. that he used fakery, trickery to try to make it look like something. That's not what we did, and that's not what we will do. If something is going on, we're gonna tell the truth about it. But that was the Whipple Company Store, and we took the day tour. Where are we going now? Transatlantic Lunatic Asylum. Woohoo! It should be good. And I will see you later. Bye.